Hello and welcome to another live stream here on Hawkeye Rides. I'm Anthony, and we're going to have a lot of Q&A hopefully. So everybody that has any questions, just ask them and we'll answer them accordingly. Also, we're running a super chat, which if we reach our goal of 5, we'll do a live stream on a review. So you guys can see how it is live. Also, check out the membership. We do 2 different videos every week where we're giving videos that are not released. So you can check those out. And always check out everything on the community tab. We like to do some questions and things of that nature, as well as the new channel, Supercar Throttle. This week we went to Mercedes and Toyota. So we got to test the new Mercedes AMG S63E Performance, which was a crazy performance vehicle. The only thing I will say about Mercedes, though, is every single time I go there, they're very expensive. That's really where I'm going to go with. It was almost $230,000. For that money, you're literally at supercar money. So it was kind of difficult for me to be, just thinking about all the performance and the luxury because the price was pretty high. We also did the AMG GT63 Coupe, which was an awesome vehicle. It was under $200,000. I was going to do the SL63. We already have a review on one we did last year, so I said, let me wait till they get the 26 variants. The GT Coupe, though, awesome vehicle, and the performance out of it, it just screams. We also tested the GLE 53. We didn't get to do the new plug-in hybrid for the year because they haven't had it. This is a 26 variant. They will be on the channel shortly, as well as going into Toyota. We did a lot of work with Toyota this past week where we were just kind of educating different people at actual Toyota dealerships. So it was kind of fun and giving some insight. We also went to BMW last week, so we have the 550e coming, which is I had some potato chips, the plug-in hybrid variant for the 5 Series, which kind of takes the place of the M550i. I hate to say it like that because the M550i they discontinued, and that was a V8 twin turbo detuned M engine, which we no longer have it for a few years. But the 550e, it not only gets, I think it's like 17 miles full electric range, but it also gets like 69 mpges combined, which is crazy. And it's also one of the most horsepower vehicle in the 5 Series that is non-electric. So unless you obviously go into the M variant, but then it's like double the price because you can get this under $90,000. So it's actually a sweet spot vehicle still, and you get great MPG. So I really appreciate that they at least have that variant still available, but I do miss the M550i. We also did the M4 Competition X-Drive convertible, another vehicle that is it's one of the sweet spot vehicles. This one was a little bit over $100,000, and now they're starting more in around $96,000. So it's a lot of money, but it's a lot of vehicle too, because 523 horsepower. Because if you remember, a couple of years back, we got an increase of 20 horsepower, and a lot of that is from that 48. Sorry about that. I thought I had this turned off. And we are waiting to do the M5 wagon, which as soon as they get one, we will bring it to the channel. There was one that came in, but it was already sold before we could get our hands on it. The person literally ordered it, and as soon as it came to the dealership, the actual person that bought it was waiting there to take it home. So the PDI, and then it didn't even stay in the dealership for probably a couple hours just for them to clean it up and send it out. We have a bunch of Audis coming back to the channel as well. And right now, Audi, I'm sure people have been watching the news with some of the auto industry, but to give you some insight, Audi is kind of like up and down with sending vehicles to the US, but they still have a ton of inventory, so it's not really a concern in that area. The tariffs are starting to become a question again because a lot of different talks about that, which, it's going to have some pros and cons to it. Either way you cut the cookie. Is hybrid cars any good? Yes. I like hybrid cars. They do tend to last, especially when you go into like Toyota, Honda. They last pretty good amount of time. The only concerns that I have with them is obviously after warranty. If you do have to replace anything for the battery, it can cost anywhere from $200 to $7,500 depending on the vehicle and the age of the vehicle. But most of the time, it's something that doesn't get replaced till typically 150 to 200,000 or even more than that. And it also depends on how you drive the vehicle. So if you're looking to get a hybrid, what I recommend is you do drive it at least several times a week, because the battery has to be actually charging, meaning like you have to drive the vehicle because it's the only way you can charge it. So if you let it sit for like 2-3 weeks at a time and you don't drive it, then the battery will not last. But overall, great vehicle, especially if you're looking for something to get a lot of MPGs. And it's kind of the way a lot of the auto industry is going, throwing in this either hybrid system or full hybrids so they get more performance and better MPGs. Hey, James, how are you? Great to see you as well. So I mean, I would recommend them, but again, it really just depends on what you're looking at. If you're trying to buy something pre-owned, definitely try to get it within a couple of years or so of age. And also, so you're looking at a Honda CR-V hybrid. Yeah, I mean, you can't really go wrong with those vehicles. They don't have too many problems. The only issue that has been coming out with Honda is they have a situation where the engines stop working, not stop working, they turn off. But they've already done the recall to fix the problem with that, and I really wouldn't have any concern with them. They're pretty solid vehicles. Everyone that I know that has a CR-V hybrid, they're very happy with the vehicles. There's not necessarily a lot of them with a ton of miles yet, so you can still get them with probably 30,000, 40,000, or even less. So it's something you shouldn't be too worried about. And the interior is good. It's a quiet car. The performance isn't bad. It's pretty much spot on with everybody in class. We are planning on going to Porsche this week. So our guy just came back from Spain. So I'll have the updates hopefully tomorrow if that's a go, or I have to wait till the next week. And we're going to also be bringing some V8 vehicles from Ram. They're going to be starting to trickle in. One thing that I did look at some first research is one of the new Rams. They were complaining about the speed with that twin turbo 6-cylinder not being able to go much more than 118 miles per hour. And once you get to like 98 miles per hour, it's kind of slow going past that. I don't necessarily think it's a concern, but I mean, you can't even go 100 miles an hour in Florida. You'll go to jail because that's the law that they've implemented here. Then, did you want to come in, Asa?
All right.
Got Issa here as well, so I'm going to try to change the camera around. So, yeah, we're just chatting about different vehicles. And what was your take this week on some vehicles? You got to have some fun in the MC20.
What vehicles?
I don't know, what vehicles were you in this past week?
The MC20. That's really it.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, what was your thoughts of the ride?
It drove good.
We actually drove it in the rain the other day. It was pouring down rain, and it was not necessarily a concern. I don't really like to drive a rear-wheel drive supercar in the rain, but actually was pretty decent. The construction of the vehicle isn't necessarily the best, though, in raining situations, because the way the butterfly doors open up, it literally just pours water in, and the full interior is Alcantara, so it wasn't really the best. Which one is better, Honda or Toyota? For hybrids, I would go with Toyota just because of their history with it. I like Honda as well. Like, the Insight used to be an awesome vehicle. They discontinued it. Now they have the Civic Hybrid, which is kind of the replacement of it. And we didn't have it for a little bit whenever they did the refresh. But I would probably stick with Toyota. I mean, the Camrys are pretty solid vehicles. They're only in hybrid variants, 5 different trims to choose from for 2026. I mean, you were in the Toyota. What do you think about Toyotas?
They're nice.
Like everyday vehicles, they get great gas, and they're actually better than Honda in MPGEs. Has Honda driven the Cello yet?
No, I have not.
Yeah. I don't know. I told him to drive it today. We're gonna have a kind of funny video posting on Supercar Throttle. It's a short video, be in the next hopefully 30 minutes to an hour. After the live stream, I just have to edit it real quick and put it on. We try to do some funny videos. We typically do it on TikTok and Instagram, but we're gonna try to start merging them onto the Supercar Throttle channel also, which is our second channel. So if you haven't checked it out, go to it, subscribe. And we also do different vehicles there on testing. I believe we did the RS5 Sportback competition this week. And we also had the Jaguar F-Type R, which is basically the SVR because they discontinued the SVR, and it's a vehicle that's discontinued also. Yeah.
Yep.
So you were saying something about vehicles yesterday, actually, when we were driving. We're talking about different quality and things like that.
Oh, like Mercedes?
Yeah.
Oh,
Speaking of
yeah.
Mercedes.
Yeah, I said that I don't feel like it shouldn't be costing over, $200,000 for a sedan that isn't an exotic when you're paying a Huracan starts around 200, or even a used supercar starts around like 180s, 200s. And then you're buying a brand new Merc, which is like 200 grand for a 63. I mean, I feel like it's not worth it.
There's a ton of power. It just doesn't make sense in the sense of the pricing, because obviously who's going to take an S-Class on a track? I believe the 0 to 60 is at like 3.3 seconds. And this year it goes up to 180 miles per hour, which is crazy fast. And you have some range. I think the electric range is like 16, nothing crazy. It's really meant for all performance and a lot of F1 technology for the battery. And obviously it's AMG. But I don't know, near $230,000. It was just kind of crazy. And what we've really been looking at with a lot of these vehicles is if they're going too much with technology, some of the interior materials itself, how they're actually tailoring it, because a lot of cars nowadays are going so tech driven. It's like you're literally driving a cell phone.
Yeah, like a hyperscreen.
Yeah, I mean, it just becomes too much. I mean, one thing I like about our personal vehicles is that it still has technology, but let's face it, you're not going to be sitting there like it's a computer screen. It's really only meant for navigation, for music, and for Bluetooth capabilities or your cell phone to make an in calls. Because even text message, yeah, you can do it, but still, like, I mean, how many more screens do you have? Audi has kind of went a little bit above and beyond with their screens. I mean, they're now putting them all over the place, and even Porsche is doing the same thing. Just there's a lot of hard and plastic aesthetics. I mean, you were in a lot of those vehicles.
Quality definitely went down.
Yeah, I mean, they're not even adding the carbon fiber anymore in the interiors. They're putting just glossy black plastic, so it's not even wood. So I don't know, it's really changed the whole interior of the vehicle. And then when you come out and you look at a $70,000 to $100,000 price, you start questioning what the heck is going on. But funny enough, we went to Home Depot yesterday and we bought 2 packs of screws. I think there were like 50 screws in each, so 100 screws. What was the price?
It's like $120.
120. It was a lot of freaking money. That's a lot of money for screws. So we were doing some updates in our house, and we doing a custom cabinet in the closet. The wood was only like $80. The screws, which we returned those screws because they were also the wrong screws, were $40-ish to $50 more. And it's the same thing when it comes into the car industry. They're doing the same thing. They're doing these aesthetics that just, it looks cool when you're buying the vehicle, but what I always stress is don't buy it on the spot, because you're going to buy it in the heat where maybe the salesperson's kind of pushing you a little bit and you're like, oh yeah, it's a great car. And they say, oh yeah, you love the vehicle. Let's go. Just buy it. Sign, sign, sign. Once you sign, it's yours. Now they do have buyer's remorse. Most states will do like a day, 2 days. Some do a weekend, some do a week. Some of them though that have that week attached to it be a little eerie, because typically what they do is they'll let you exchange the car for another vehicle on their dealership. So what happens there is if you're looking for other vehicles, then you're basically only going to be able to get whatever it is on their dealership, which If it's, Toyota, Honda, maybe you want to go to Nissan, that's not going to be the case, which would really suck.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, any other things about your reviewing with vehicles?
What brand?
Hold on. Let's see. The 2022 BMW X4 M40i. Is it bad to drive in sport mode all the time? No. We actually drive most of our vehicles. Well, I don't know if you do. I don't think you do.
No, I don't.
But I used to drive it, my own vehicles in sport mode up to like 15, 20,000 miles. It's obviously not going to get the best MPGs, and you have where the gears are going to be a little bit more stretched in the sense, like it'll go to a higher RPM, but it's not going to affect the vehicle. Don't race it all the time, though. That will affect the longevity of it. So if you're hitting, 2, 3 RPMs here and there, it's fine. And even occasionally going up to the higher RPM is not a big deal. But if you're doing it all the time, going to that higher RPM, then it does become something that's going to affect the vehicle in the long term, especially like your water pump. There's a lot of plastics underneath these vehicles nowadays. So I would be, I guess the best way to explain it, every time you fill your car, maybe race it 2 or 3 times max. So if you're getting 400 miles, maybe 2 times race it, and then otherwise just drive it normal. Don't race it when you need like an oil change, and obviously stay up to date with your maintenance, because the oil itself has to lubricate for the turbocharge. So if you start the vehicle and immediately start running it, these are all turbocharged vehicles, then you're going to probably blow the turbo, or worse, mess up the engine.
Yeah.
We always heat up our vehicles, even whether it's hot or cold environment. Obviously, cold environment, you want to heat it up a little bit longer, utilize the auto start stop system. But you should be fine driving in sport mode all the time, especially with the exhaust on the M40i. I mean, it sounds better on the M Sport variants because you get that burble that everybody likes.
The B58, right?
Yeah. So, great vehicle. You're welcome. And Alex, my brother, he purchased a M4 Competition X-Drive Coupe. He got it $8,000 off, which I thought that was a pretty decent deal. So even though it's an M car, there are some deals out there. And I have personally seen this past week, I know Toyota's doing like 0% on pretty much everything. So if you're looking to get that hybrid, you might want to consider, not necessarily sooner than later, but the deals are going to start coming in. Another time to shop also would be around Black Friday. Surprisingly, you can get some crazy deals. A few years back, I went to a Jaguar dealer. We almost bought a XJ, and it was going to be like $25,000 off because it was Black Friday special. So just some insight there. But really the key to any of the deals now for these newer vehicles is the interest. If you can get the 0% and you get a few grand off, that's going to be more money in the long run, because interest rates right now are typically anywhere from, and it depends on price, but if you have good credit in the 700-ish, you're roughly in the, I would say 4 to 6.5 on a 72-month loan. Obviously, if you do a 3-year loan or 36, they typically are like 1.9. So again, just make sure you check out the latest credit or the latest deals for financing, because that is where you'll save a ton of money over 72 months or whatever. But the quality control on vehicles, how do you feel about the quality on our personal vehicles?
I mean, the MC20 has pretty good quality, especially like, with its competitors, the Huracan looking like crap in the interior. Looks exactly the same for 10 years.
One thing that we have had happen is I cleaned the infotainment screen and the screen stopped working. I had to reset it like 4 times. I have a TikTok video on it where this is where I hate this tech stuff. And unfortunately, that particular car has it as well. The climate control, everything is done through that. The only thing you could really do is drive the vehicle. Physical buttons would be awesome. 17-year-old daughter just power shifted my Aston Martin AMR in traffic and blew the trans. She's a new driver, but I believe she was texting while it happened. Should I punish her now or? Well, do you have any warranty on it? I would hope you have something, but I don't think that's going to be
It's
an
gonna be a
expensive
lot of
fix.
money.
Yeah, it's going to be an expensive
Transmission
fix.
is a little expensive.
Yeah. So what I typically do when I'm punishing my kids is I take their cell phones away and their electronics. But unfortunately, when they're driving a vehicle, you kind of want them to have the phone. Sure, but not full. Okay. So you could, I don't know, you might even look at an insurance claim, but if she did like a money shift, which is what it kind of sounds like she did, that's a problem. I mean, that's going to be because no companies like to really warranty anything like that. And right now they're really cracking down on people doing that, which is ridiculous, I think, because it should be able to withstand things, or they should have some kind of safe fail system. For punishment, I mean, that's a tough one. That's your personal vehicle or is that her vehicle? I mean, if it's your vehicle, then I wouldn't let her drive that vehicle ever again. I mean, would you?
No.
Now, that being said, he's sitting here thinking because he has the Maserati Ghibli. Well, if I do that, the Ghibli has a ZF 8-speed automatic transmission.
I don't.
Pretty
I don't
bulletproof.
speed, so
You can't really mess up that too easy. No dual clutch transmission like the MC20. That could be a very expensive fix too.
I don't speed though.
I would also look at some European type auto stores just to see what the price would be and maybe have her pay some of it. I would definitely have her pay some of the bill, maybe 25% or 50%. I mean, obviously it's an Aston Martin. It's going to cost a lot of money, but this way she learns a lesson. So I think the best way to do that is she pays a portion, if not all of the bill, or have her do extra things around the house to kind of pay for it because, I mean, it's expensive.
Transmission.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. Yeah.
God.
I mean, things happen, but if you're not paying attention and you do it, and more than likely she was on her phone, like you're saying, texting, then yeah, I mean, she needs to wake up and smell the coffee. It's kind of like getting a speeding ticket. You know, if you get pulled over by a police officer, a good percentage of the time they're going to give you a ticket, even if you're nice to them. I mean, I've been pulled over several times. James even knows on one of the reviews we did recently, I was pulled over. She really can't pay. She doesn't even work.
Right now.
I would tell her, I mean, I know she's 17, so she's still in school, but this would be a great lesson for her to learn. So I would recommend she works at like a local grocery store or McDonald's or something so she can see 15 hours a week is not really going to kill her. Or if you own your own business or you do something with your own, maybe have her work with you or have her help work your job. If you do like home things, like maybe have her organize your paperwork, something where she's getting some kind of penalty and she understands what she did was wrong. Because otherwise, I mean, I hate to say it, like she's not going to learn. And then when she gets older, because she's just 17, sometimes, you know, you have to learn now so that way later on they don't take things a little bit more for granted. Because then, say for instance, you give her that vehicle or you buy her a nice vehicle and she just wrecks it and, you know, she continues to do that same trend. She's never learning her lesson. So you have to do something now in order to educate her for later. So that way she understands, I did something wrong. I need to pay the price, but maybe not the full price because she's 17, you know, give her some slack, but in the same category, make her know that it's not good. I mean, what would you say? So Issa actually had a little fender bender.
Okay, that was not my fault.
But you know, he was. What did you do? You immediately did what?
I called you.
Yep. You know how teens be. Yeah. Well, that's why I'm explaining this. So, like, Issa had a little fender bender. Somebody hit him in the parking lot of school while he was in the Maserati, and he called me immediately.
The guy was on his phone,
Yeah.
and he turned when he wasn't supposed to turn, and I was already in the turn lane because they make us stop in the turn lane, and he turned right into me on the side.
Yeah, and even on the dash cam, it shows my son clearly stopped and was like, "What the heck's going on?" And you can hear the sensors as he's penetrating the front bumper. And unfortunately, it was kind of a heated situation because the driver obviously didn't want to take responsibility. He was in a Rogue, which was already beat up, and it's sad because the person doesn't have the financial situation was bad. He apparently just lost his job and he's going through a lot of stuff. And I said, listen, let's become human, relax. Well, and we talked for a couple of days, and we just started talking like humans. And we worked out a plan where he paid to fix it, and we didn't do insurance because he agreed that it would be too much for him and he can't afford it. So I said, listen, I'll take it to the body shop. We'll do it this way. And God bless, everything worked out a lot easier. Not saying that happens all the time. I'm sure there's a lot of cases it doesn't, because 2 days he was fighting, saying it was his fault, my son's fault, and even going to the point saying, we'll get the cameras from the school and this and this. And I said, listen, we have a dash cam for the front and the rear. Why do we need to go to more cameras when you can clearly see and hear the sensors in the vehicle beeping while you're hitting the front bumper? So after about 3 days, he agreed. And then the next week, I took it to a body shop. It took probably 2 months. But in the same, it worked out. He was able to pay the bill, which I was happy. I obviously don't talk to the person, but, great guy. And that's life, unfortunately. Accidents happen, but people have to be responsible for what they do. And that's kind of the way I illustrated it to that gentleman, as I said, you know what, you did this. I'm not trying to be rude, but if I did that, I would pay for it. Do you see any trends by manufacturers going back to ICE engines and moving away from electric since sales are slumping? So right now, a lot of vehicle companies are going away from the EVs heavily, especially not just because of the tax credits, but because everything has shifted with the EPA and all the regulations. Sadly, I don't like what some are doing, and I'm a huge fan of V8s. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the reviews of like the Dodges that I've done with, the Hellcats, the Red Eyes, awesome vehicles. But now I feel like it's going the absolute wrong way, because all they're going to do for Dodge, for instance, is come out with
Hemis,
all V8s. So I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying for practicality, you kind of need some 6 cylinders and 4 cylinders. And a lot of people, when they're going to buy a vehicle, you're spending, say, 40, 50 grand. That's pretty much average on every car nowadays. If you get a Hemi, you're going to spend a lot of money on gas. And some people that are in the $40,000, $50,000 price point buying those vehicles may not have the funds to keep the car on the road because they're gasaholics. I had a 5.9 liter Jeep Grand Cherokee, and it was crazy. So, James, unfortunately, the EV market has changed because the administration has changed heavily. But on that note, you can get some really good deals on EVs right now. So if you are thinking about getting an EV, I know Tesla just dropped, I think 2 days ago, on the Model 3, buying them new, they will give you full, unlimited supercharge, which is awesome. What is the best? What? What is that?
I don't even know.
Against 2...
Probably spam.
You think so?
Probably.
All right, let's do like this. And look at that. We learned something new. Funny enough, we also learned something new with the MC20 today. I accidentally popped the trunk because we don't drive the damn thing that much. We have 298 miles. I've just now put a little bit over 200 miles on it. I popped the trunk on accident, and the rear dash camera, or the digital rear view mirror, stopped working. I thought, my God, what else is going to stop working on this damn thing? But that's a feature that happens when you open up the back trunk, for anybody that has that particular supercar that's watching now or later. But yeah, I actually was talking to Issa yesterday about EVs. I said, maybe we should look at one, because you can get some pretty inexpensive. And now that Tesla is going to give you lifetime free supercharge, I mean, if you're just doing a daily vehicle, that's something that is pretty awesome when you consider that you're not having to pay to fill it up. It does suck that you have to sit there forever to charge, but Teslas do charge a little bit quicker than pretty much everybody else. Some companies are getting hit a little bit harder. I know Lucid and Rivian, their sales have been kind of slumped quite a bit. And Rivian also with their new SUV that's smaller, that's going to be like the $60,000 and a little under. I mean, I hate to say it's kind of late for the show. And also, you've probably already noticed that a lot of companies are starting to exit out. Even Mercedes, the CEO said last week that, what is so again? What does he say?
He's probably just going to say the same comment. Just block him.
Mercedes, the CEO last week was stating that, where's
Put him in the timeout. Just put it in timeout.
Where does it say that?
See it right there.
I don't see it.
Okay, here you go.
Oh, I see it now. These screens. So the CEO of Mercedes was saying that in Europe, they don't see a future of the EVs, and they're starting to put pressure because they're trying to go also against the EV because they're seeing a huge decline in sales. But I will say in Europe, they have a lot of charging capabilities there. I mean, you could charge a car everywhere. It's not like the US. The Ioniq 5, 6, EV9, charge super fast, a level 3. Yes, 800 volt platform. Yes, they do charge fast, and you can get even faster charging times. And they're also integrating now where you can use the Tesla supercharge too. So I think Kia and Hyundai, even Genesis, because it's all the same. Just obviously there is some differences between them, but just to make it quick, they're doing an excellent job with their vehicles. I stated a lot on the reviews too, that if you're looking for something opposed to a Tesla, a Rivian, a Lucid, you should consider these vehicles. The EV9, we have the review. I did it last month. Awesome vehicle, as well as the new Ioniq. I think it's Ioniq. What I think 7. I can't remember which one it was. We have a few different reviews on them, but awesome vehicles. The charging times are quick. They are fast vehicles, and I mean, they're not that expensive either. But with Tesla giving that free charging, I mean, it is something to consider, even though I'm not a huge fan of Tesla vehicles. I just thinking about overall 16,000 lease cash now. Well, I mean, that's yeah. And that's exactly what I was saying to James, David, is like they have some really crazy deals right now trying to get rid of these EVs. And a lot of cases, like I was at Hyundai last week, and I think they only had 2 EVs, maybe 1, because they're not really getting a lot. Genesis only had the electrified GV70, which we're going to be bringing to the channel. They only had 1 there because it's a 2 different dealership. So I mean, if you can score these deals before they kind of kick them out, because even Genesis with the G80, they're not even at the dealerships anymore. It's almost like they're fading them out completely because they're not selling. And sadly, like the G80, G90s, those things are freaking nuts. I mean, what you're getting of luxury amenities in the interior is better in most cases than an S-Class. Now, it's not going to have the performance and that prestige badge. And obviously, Mercedes does a great job, but it's a huge discount. I mean, when we did the G90 V6 twin turbo with the e-supercharge, we have the review coming on the channel. I think it was $102,000. The doors open, close. They got wireless charger in the front and the back. They got chauffeur mode. I mean, for $102,000, and we were talking at the beginning with Mercedes being $230,000, you can buy 2 of those and still get a Toyota for your daily. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for EVs, I would definitely look into either of them. I think they're by far pretty cool. Actually, our friend has he has the Ioniq 5, doesn't he? He has the E63S, and then his daily is a Ioniq 5.
Yeah.
It's quite the
interesting loadout.
The garage he has. We also went to the track yesterday. That was kind of a difference.
Motor Enclave.
Yeah, we went to the Motor Enclave, and they had cars and coffee with the Porsche. So we got to see some of our team there, and getting ready to hopefully take the cello out over there, but we have to put some miles on it first because I still haven't unlocked launch mode yet. The car hasn't broken in enough. It actually tells me on the gauge cluster, transmission's not ready, the engine's not ready. So it's kind of interesting. But how did you like it over there?
It was pretty good. A lot of Porsches.
Yeah.
They had a 918.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy, he owned all of them. Wasn't he had like $8 million of cars. So it's pretty insane the amount of vehicles that was over there. And of course, they had the racing thing where you can go with their race car drivers. They had a what was it, an M3, I think. It looked more like just not a competition.
It was like a base.
It was a base. And then they had the Mustang 5.0, which the 5.0, at the beginning, it just looked like they were just doing donuts. I just picked up a 2024 EQS, bought pre-owned, the auction clean Carfax 6243. Yes, that is insane. If funny you mentioned that, David. My neighbor, he picked up an EQS and he got it. He buys and trades cars. He has a dealership. I think he only paid what, $25,000, but his wasn't with that higher MSRP. His was like more towards the. It was still expensive, but it was like 105-ish, I think, and but it had a wreck, but it was all cleaned up, so the accident was fixed and everything. But I mean, if you can get a vehicle literally like 3 times that inexpensive in the EQS, I'm sure you probably have the hyper screen, which is awesome. I know he was showing us. Remember, as soon as he bought it, he actually came over and he was like, "Look at what I got," and he was saying the deal that he had with the EQS, and we're just like, "Wow." And he has all the AMG spec. He doesn't have the AMG version. He has like the night kit. He has the lighting kit. He has the hyper screen, the wheels. But awesome vehicle. Powerful as hell too. You were in the EQS.
Yeah.
We did the AMG variant. I believe it was
Maybach.
around that price. And we did the Maybach as well, which that one, I think that one was like $260 maybe. And then the other one was right at the same price, like $120, $130, which was, it had the pillows in it. That was the one where we got sick. It was so much performance, we actually got sick with it. I'm retired in the automotive industry 43 years, so I get all the deals. Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, that's really good. Do you have your own dealership, or you used to work for dealerships? Whenever he comes back.
Yeah, I think he's gone.
No, he's coming back, eventually. But yeah, that was the vehicle that made us sick. We actually had to pull off on the side of the road for, 15, 20 minutes because we felt like we were going to vomit. It was literally that much performance that car had.
Did you get one?
For 43, probably. Yeah, that's a hell of a deal. I mean, that's 3 times the discount. The range isn't the greatest, but hey, who cares? I also have the EV6 GT, fast as hell. Yes, I agree. I worked as a representative for 3 manufacturers. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on the channel, and I know that you've also posted some comments as well, so I appreciate that. Yeah, the EV6, that's an awesome vehicle. We were both at Kia when we did the EV. How was your? You actually liked that one, the third row?
Yeah,
it was a nice car. I think it was like $78,000. So it wasn't necessarily too bad for everything you're getting. But, I know people in the comments of that particular review were like, "Oh, it's a Kia." And I say, nowadays every vehicle has went up in price. So if you're getting the same amenities, most of the mechanics, meaning like the motors for your seats, the massage seats, the technology, a lot of that is retrofit between a lot of the same automotive industry. So when you calculate the pricing and you're saying, "Oh, it's just a Hyundai, it's just a Kia, it's just a Ford," whatever it is, they do inter-exchange some of that technology throughout their vehicles. So some vehicles, I will say they are, they're overpriced. But then in the same aspect, when you're going to get a new vehicle, each year they increase the price by $1,000 or $2,000. One thing that I do applaud some automotive industry is like with Infiniti. I know Nissan isn't doing so well right now, and I'm sure everyone knows the situation with what's going on. but they only have 2 vehicles that they sell for Infiniti. They've discontinued everything. And with their refresh, which is not really a full refresh, we have a review on it on the QX60, which is their more performing selling vehicle. Doesn't have any performance at all. They didn't really go up on the price. So when you're considering that, that's awesome, because I just did the autograph last week, actually this week, and it was cheaper than my autograph I got for 2025. Peeps, lease EVs, buy used. Yes, I agree with that. If you're doing anything new with the EV, lease it. One of our neighbors actually got a deal on a BMW i4 as a 2023 model. They had leftovers as 2 years old. He got the 35, which they don't do a 35. That's how I knew it was a 23, because in 24 they stopped doing that. He got the vehicle so cheap that even when his lease is up, he can buy it for like $19,000. I told him, you can keep the car for 6 months and sell it. That's what I would do. That's how good of a deal you got on that lease. And he seems to love it. It's a great vehicle. It doesn't have a great amount of range, but it does the daily chore that you need. If you're getting an EV to basically take you to work and home, I mean, it should be sufficient enough. Most people don't commute an hour to 2 hours to work. I do, but that's a different type of job, which I tend to love my job. But yeah, we're going to wrap up the live stream for this week. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you, David, James, and everybody for the questions. We're going to try to do some games for the next Q&A, so that way we'll have some more interactions with this. So we'll throw out some questions, and hopefully you guys have some answers, and vice versa. Check out the new channel, Supercar Throttle, the membership, where we give videos ahead of time before they're actually out, and we also give some other perks with it, showing different shorts and things of that nature. You guys have an excellent rest of your weekend, and enjoy the rest of your day.